You know that person. Nothing is ever their fault. The job didn't work out because the boss was jealous. The friendship ended because the other person was toxic. The relationship failed because they were too good for them. Every story they tell, they're the hero who got wronged. Every single time. And here's the uncomfortable truth nobody says out loud. Some of them aren't lying. They genuinely believe it. So today, we're going inside the mind of the chronic victim. Not to attack them, not to cancel them, but to actually understand what's happening underneath. Because science has a lot to say, and most of it will surprise you. Let's start here. Nobody is born a victim. It's built, slowly, usually in childhood. When a kid grows up in an environment where love was conditional, where punishment was random, where they had zero control over what happened to them, the brain learns something dangerous. It learns that life just happens to you, that you are never the cause, only the consequence. Psychologists call this an external locus of control, the belief that outside forces, other people, bad luck, the universe are always steering the wheel. You're just a passenger, always. And once that belief is installed deep enough, it becomes a lens. Every situation gets filtered through it, even the ones where they had a choice. But here's where it gets psychologically fascinating. Victim mentality isn't just a mindset, it's a coping mechanism, and a powerful one. Think about it. If nothing is ever your fault, you never have to feel shame. You never have to sit with the discomfort of, maybe I contributed to this. The blame goes outward, always outward. And for a person who was genuinely hurt, genuinely powerless at some point in their life, that mental move feels like protection. It is protection, at first. The problem is, it becomes a prison. Because when you hand over all responsibility, you also hand over all your power. You can't fix what you refuse to own. And so the same patterns repeat. Different people, different places, same story, same ending, same villain, just a different face. There's another layer most people miss. Victim identity can become addictive, not in a dramatic way, in a quiet, chemical way. When someone shares their suffering, they get sympathy, attention, validation. The nervous system registers that as a reward, and slowly, pain becomes the currency they use to connect with people, to feel seen, to matter. Strip away the story, and what you often find underneath is just a person who never learned they could be loved without suffering first. Now, here's the part that makes this complicated. Some people playing the victim actually are victims. Real trauma, real injustice, real pain. And this is why chronic victim mentality is so misunderstood, because from the outside, it all looks the same. The manipulation and the genuine wound, the performance and the real cry for help. You can't always tell the difference, and that's exactly why this conversation needs more nuance than just stop complaining. Real victimhood is something that happened to you. Victim mentality is something you start doing to cope with what happened. One is an event, the other is an identity. And the moment suffering becomes your entire personality, your entire explanation for everything, it stops being healing and starts being hiding. Here's what chronic victim behavior actually does to relationships. It exhausts people. Not because they don't care, but because no amount of support is ever enough. You validate them, they find a new wound. You solve one problem, another appears. You become the audience to a show that never ends. And slowly, the people who genuinely love them start disappearing, which, to the victim, becomes more proof. See, everyone always leaves. Everyone always hurts me. The cycle seals itself shut. So what breaks it? Because it can be broken, and this is important. Awareness is the first crack. Not blame, not confrontation. Awareness. The quiet moment where someone asks themselves, is it possible that I had some role in this? Not all the role, not the villain, just some. That question, honestly asked, is a revolution for someone whose brain has been running the other program for years. Therapy helps, specifically modalities that work with identity, not just behavior. Because you can't logic someone out of a coping mechanism. You have to help them feel safe enough to not need it anymore. And here's the most important thing. People with victim mentality aren't weak. They survived something. They built armor. The armor just got too heavy and started hurting everyone around them, including themselves. If you recognize yourself in any of this, that recognition alone is powerful. Most people never question their own narrative. You are. That's not nothing. That's actually the beginning of everything. And if you recognize someone else, have compassion, have boundaries, both at the same time. Because the most dangerous thing you can do is either dismiss them completely or absorb their story so deeply you lose yourself trying to fix it. Drop in the comments, do you know someone like this? Or, honestly, have you ever caught yourself playing the victim when maybe, just maybe, you had more power than you admitted? The next video goes even deeper into the personality science says most people misread entirely. Click it. You're not ready for how much it applies to you.